Good afternoon. Just putting you up in the stand. Apologies for being a bit late today. You may have just seen my post. I'm been on nursing duties today. My little grandson's not very well, so no nursery for him. Mike is here in case he wakes up, but he is now fast asleep, and I think he had quite a disturbed night, so the chances are he will have quite a good little nap now. So we can play, and then when he wakes up, hopefully feeling a bit more bright and cheerful, him and I can play. So welcome. My name is Helen Jennings. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator based here in the UK, in Northamptonshire, and in bright and sunny Northamptonshire this afternoon. It's looking rather beautiful out there. I've not actually been out, so I will just make the assumption that it's beautiful out there. But it's nice and warm in here anyway. I have some crafting that we're going to be doing together in a moment. A bit of a warning. I have not, it is really just at the moment still in my head. I didn't have time to prepare anything this morning, so apart from cut some bits of card and things, so it will be let's see what happens if we do that type of crafting. So by all means chip in if there's things you think there's something I should be doing different as we play along with our crafting a bit later on. I'm open to suggestions, and it is always lovely if you're here, pop in and say hello, and do share these videos out. It's always lovely if there's anybody you think would like to come and join our crafty fun on a Thursday afternoon, then do share the video and invite them in. It would be lovely to see them. It's always lovely to welcome new people, whether it's in class, whether it's on Facebook or wherever. So yeah, do always invite people to come and join us wherever you are meeting with us. It's lovely to see new people. Hello Valerie, sorry I've kept you waiting a little bit. So let's start. Without further ado, I have got a cup of tea. I've just swallowed my yogurt, so we should be good to go. Okay, so news. Don't forget to book onto any events and things that are coming up. I've got them spread out in front of me, so I will do a quick run through in a minute. We had a lovely class yesterday using the Bloom by Bloom bundle. The next class at home that I've got coming up is a fancy fold class that's on Friday the 22nd of February. So if that's something you fancy, if you like doing fancy fold cards, if you like doing the slightly more fancy cards, then do come and join us for that. We should be doing at least 2 fancy fold cards on that morning. And then I've got the Saturday Stampers coming up on the 23rd of February, and the orders are about to be hit send for that, so you have got until almost the end of this video to going live, that is, to let me know that you would still like to come to that. So we've got that coming up. I've got a few other classes down here in front of me that I'll do a quick run through in a minute, but I've also got a bingo night coming up on Thursday, March the 7th. That was great fun last time. We play 3 games of bingo, we make 3 crafty projects, and this time they're going to be Easter themed, because obviously we shall be sneaking up towards then, so we'll have some Easter themed crafting, 3 games of bingo, lots of crafty prizes. All the prizes are brand new Stampin' Up products. It's £15 to come along for the evening. There are some fabulous prizes. One of the prizes last time was a Stamperata, so I haven't decided what the prizes are going to be this time, but there will be a whole host of wonderful prizes. So if you are able to join us on Thursday, March the 7th, and that is at Great Doddington Memorial Hall, then do come along. That will be fabulous. Obviously we're still in celebration. You're still able to earn your free product if you put in an order with me or with any Stampin' Up demonstrator, but I would really like it to be me. If you are based here in the UK, anywhere in the UK, I can very happily and very willingly be your Stampin' Up demonstrator. So if you don't have a Stampin' Up demonstrator but would like to order some Stampin' Up goodies, then by all means I would love to be able to help you. Do get in touch. But if you put in an order of £45 or more, you do get to choose your free item during celebration. And the exciting news is, as of tomorrow, the 15th of February, there will be some new items that you can order. with that stamp, with that celebration. So there are new things that you can choose to have if you put in a £45 order as of tomorrow, and I will share some of those things with you in a moment. I just realised that I've not got out my little flyer with the new things on, but I will find that. I'm just digging about as I'm talking to you. No, not that one, or that one, but that one. Okay, I found what I'm looking for. Brilliant. So I should be able to share those with you in a minute. I have actually got some of them physically here. Mine arrived yesterday, the ones that I have ordered. I haven't ordered all of them, but I've got most of them, and I can show you those in a minute. So that's new celebration products tomorrow. During February, I am running this special promotion if you book an event. So if you do want to book an event with me, do that sooner rather than later. Don't wait until March, do it now. For any event that you book during February or March, I will be giving you an extra little goodie bag on top of all the lovely things that you normally get if you have an event with me anyway. So do get in touch and we'll get that in the diary. So is that all the news? I think so. The only thing I haven't said is that I've got a team Facebook page, team Facebook Live tomorrow. With my team, I have a Facebook Live 1 month, and the following month I do a lunch. So this month is Facebook Live month. That is tomorrow. So you still have 24 hours, nearly, just under, to sign up to be part of my Love-a-Ducklings team and to be able to join us with that Facebook Live tomorrow. So if you can't get enough of your Facebook Lives, then come and join us for another one tomorrow. But in order to be signed up for that one, you need to have joined my team. And obviously there are 1,001 reasons why you would want to do that, particularly during celebration with that £99 starter kit, £170 worth of stuff of your choice. Nobody tells you what to have. It's about really ticking lots of things off of your wish list. So if you would like to take and get the benefit from that fabulous offer, then get in touch with me about that as well. Let's get you signed up and part of the team and part of tomorrow's Facebook Live as well. Okay. So I'm going to turn you down and turn you round, and I'll share some of the things I've got on my desk in front of me, and then we'll get on with some crafting. So hang on to your hats. Okay, let's sorry fiddling you around, just trying to make sure that we've got a fairly good view of what I've got in front of me. There we are, and that we're the right way round and all of those sorts of things. So that's all good. So what I've got here on this laminated piece of card are the new items that are going to be released for you to earn as free products from tomorrow. So these are the new celebration items that are being released for you to earn tomorrow. Now this one is called All Adorned, and it's this beautiful stamp set, and it actually has been designed to use with the Stamparatus. You've got these nice corners and things that you can build up using your Stamparatus. Obviously I would imagine that it would you'd be able to use it with other stamp positioning tools if you should so happen to have another stamp positioning tool, but when it says best ever, that describes the Stamparatus. The Stamparatus is the best ever, so why wouldn't you want one of those? And I don't know whether you're going to be able to pick this up. There is a bit of shine on there, but you might be able to pick up that sort of background there where you've got these corners that have been stamped using the Stamparatus. This has been done doing repeat patterning, so this you wouldn't be able to do on any other stamp positioning tool because that's the hinge technique where you pop it out and move it down a bit. So those are using this All Adorned stamp set, and there's some really nice greetings in there as well that you can use on all sorts of projects. The next item that is new for you to be able to earn is this embossing folder, and you're not going to be able to see that very well, but we don't need to worry about that because I do have one of those, although it's useful to see here. This is the embossing folder where the flowers have all been coloured in to make this sort of background paper effect. Really, really pretty. It's a lovely embossing folder, but I'll show you that in a minute. So those two are both free with a £45 order. So you can choose either one of those if you place a £45 order. The next one is one of the £90 order bundles, and this is a gorgeous bundle. So this is a stamp set that is a distinctive stamp set, and you've got flowers and foliage, pine cone. So it really does take you, it's called Painted Seasons, and it really does take you throughout the seasons. It is a beautiful watercolory effect. I've not actually inked mine up and stamped with it yet, but I have seen lots of things online of people that have used them. And alongside that beautiful stamp set, you get a pack of 12 by 12 paper that is also stunning. And the good news is I've got those, so I can show you those in real glorious Technicolor in just a moment. So let's just do that in just a second. So the things that I've got on my desk here, I've got my flyer for my Love-a-Duckie Completely Quackers bingo night. As I said, that's Thursday, March the 7th, so do come and join us for that. And then the things that are coming up. So February we have our fancy fold technique class, we've got our Saturday stampers coming up in February, and then in March we have a Stamparatus technique class. So if you get your Stamparatus, you could have that free stamp set as your free celebration item to use with it, and you could come along and look at different ways that you can create different techniques that you can do with your Stamparatus. And that's Wednesday the 13th of March. Friday the 22nd of March is a stamper stack, and this is using the needle and thread bundle. That's a really pretty stamp set and die bundle. There's some really lovely papers that go with that as well, so we shall be using that bundle to do our stamper stacks in March. And Saturday 23rd of March, the next Saturday stampers all day 10 till 3. We're going to be doing some Eastery things, and we're going to be using the Best Bunny bundle for that one, and your kit will include the Best Bunny bundle. And if you're wondering what the Best Bunny bundle looks like, I'm just looking round about my feet. I have one somewhere, and you'll be able to see that mine is brand new in the packet. Look, I've not even taken the punch out of the packet. So you get this fabulous rabbit punch. Oh, you can see me reflected in there. So a fabulous rabbit punch, and then you also get this stamp set that goes with it, so you can punch out your rabbits here and build them up into sort of 3D rabbits. But you've got lots of other little things there, so not just for Easter, there's happy birthdays hopping by to say hi to you. You've also got different faces for your rabbits, little paws for your rabbits, little bow ties or bows for their hair. You've got hops if you want to put in some hopping. So lots of lovely things. Welcome little ones and new baby cards, and you've got rabbits down here and hats for them to pop out of, and even a little carrot. So a really nice stamp set that's fabulous for Easter projects, but for much more than that, as I say, and you'll get your rabbit punch to go with it. So that's the bundle that you will get as part of your kit if you come along to the Excellent Crafts Saturday Stampers in March. So that's a bit of looking ahead. Let's have a little look at these new products. So these are the new celebrations items. So this is the Country Floral Dynamic Textured Impressions Embossing Folder. They really don't like that to make that easy to say. And that's the image on the front of the package. It's one of the really thick embossing folders. So where you need to just have your base plate and one of your acrylic plates to run them through. It gives you really deep impression on that on your card. Hopefully you can pick up a little bit there, some of the flowers on there. And here's a bit that I did emboss yesterday. It's actually on white card, but hopefully that is showing up. And you can see how tempting it is to get your colours out and colour in those flowers to give that really lovely, or you could get your sponge daubers and sponge over them. You could watercolour them, paint them, or just use it as a gorgeous background. What about on foil? That would look lovely, wouldn't it? So really, really pretty embossing folder. So that's one of the new items that you can have with a £45 spend starting tomorrow. And this is the one with the £90 spend. So you get both of these things. You get the pack of paper and you get the stamp set. And the stamp set is just gorgeous. You've got this beautiful big floral image. This is sort of like a succulent. That's the word I'm looking for. Sort of image, although you can use it as a flower as well. You've got your pine cone. You've got a few different leaves in there. And this sort of lovely little spotty effect. They're always useful, those sort of little stamps. I love the sort of the furriness of this detail on this sort of fern here, but really beautiful. So those are the stamps, but as I say, you also get papers, and it's almost like one paper for each season. So you get 3 sheets of each paper. So this one is a Christmassy one with the pine cones, so you could start to be getting a bit of a head start on some Christmas cards. So that's one side, and on the back of that is like this sort of zigzaggy sort of shape. It looks almost pool party. I don't know whether that's the colour it is, but that's what it looks. Either pool party, mint macaron sort of shade of greeny blue. That colour's not brilliant on there, and I'm not sure that putting a light on is going to make it any better, but we will see. Okay, so that's that one, and it is deliberately sort of got this fading on it to give it that sort of watercoloured effect on the paper. So that's one double-sided sheet, saying you get 3 of those. Then you've got this stunning floral paper, so sort of in shades of pink and red and orange, really beautiful. And on the back of that you've got this green geometric type pattern, a whole big 12 by 12 sheet of that. Then you've got this sheet that's got these succulents on, so a couple of shades of those, sort of granny apple green and coastal cabana sort of type shades, with a bit of pink in there as well that you'd be able to pick up. And the back of that is this sort of corally, sort of almost sunburst type effect. Really pretty. And then the 4th paper, I really love this one. All these toadstools and mushrooms and autumny foliage. Really beautiful. And the back of that sheet is this sort of red, again quite geometric, but that looks lovely together. So really lovely. So 3 sheets of each of those double-sided papers, and your stamp set is that bundle that you can get if you place a £90 order from tomorrow. And the beautiful embossing folder is if you place a £45 order. And then you have got, so the one that I haven't got yet is this stamp set here that's been designed for the Stamparatus. So the all adorned stamp set is your final item that's in the new release, and that one is with a £45 order. So that's the new goodies that are coming, that are being added tomorrow to the celebration offering. So the other things are still available, those of them that haven't gone out of stock. So we know that the ribbon has gone, we know that some of the things are no longer available, and we're very sad to see them go. But the numbers were just incredible in terms of numbers of how many people ordered. You know, they just absolutely blew out the park. Any reasonable stock that they considered, that they put in a fairly reasonable order in the first place, and then put in further orders until such a time that there was no way that they were going to get the further orders in time for the end of celebration. But You can still get your cupcakes, you can still get your wooden embellishments. I think the papers are still available. This By the Bay, beautiful stamp set is still there. Home to Roost, another fabulous stamp set. The Grapefruit Grove and Lovely lipstick, I know that that was getting low, but I don't think it's gone. I will double check that in a minute. The So Hoppy Together frog, he's still there. This Fabulous Part of My Story stamp set, which is really lovely. Got some lovely sentiments in there, and we're going to be using that today. That's still there. The lovely Lattice. That's a really nice stamp set. The Precious Parcel kit is gorgeous. I know that was nearing the end of supplies, and that had gone faster than they anticipated, but I'll check all of that in for you in a second. I'm just pulling up my the website to just check the status on those things. But gorgeous. And then you've got the two things at the back are with the £90 order. One is these lovely tea time framelets with the teapot and the teacup that coordinate with the stamp set that is in the spring summer catalogue, and the other thing is this fabulous Lasting Lily stamp set, which again is absolutely gorgeous. A really big stamp set, fabulous for things like sympathy cards, thinking of your cards, those sorts of things. Really lovely. I'm just flicking to see. Bear with me as I'm flicking through. I can't see that they've gone yet. Let me just click on discontinued. Nope. Okay, so I think those are the things are still available, but the ribbons we know have gone, the foils and the parcel kit we know are in danger. So if you want any of those things, then do order them quickly. Right, let's dig around down here in my baskets and let's have a play. Now, our product of the week this week was this Seasoned with Kindness stamp set. So we've been looking during February at the some of the products that you can get as a host. So if you host an event and earn your stamping rewards, excuse me, quick slurp of tea, you could get the choice to earn some of these beautiful stamp sets. So this is the one that we're looking at this week, this Seasoned with Kindness. And as yet, because I haven't had time to prep any of the cards that we're doing today, I still haven't used this. So we are really going into unknown territory, and we're about to play with this together for the first time. And I'm really looking forward to it. So I did go on to my Pinterest earlier in the week and pinned lots of cards and things using this set, so that was sort of inspiration for me, but hopefully would be inspiration for you as well. So do follow my board and go in and have a look at these different things. So, and one of the things that I saw was quite a few cards that were sort of based on the idea of there being squares across the front of a card. So some of them were 6 on a C6 card. There were sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares with herbs and things in them, and there was a few varieties on that. I wondered whether to go down the route of a window and cutting out a window and having sort of herbs either in a window pot or sort of behind the window, but that probably would have taken more time to fiddle about with than I had. But what I also thought I would do is that I thought we would do a DL card today. So a bit of a slightly different size card than we would normally do. And one that you can still very easily make up yourself just with your trimmer and your scoreboards or your scoring blade. So what I have got here is I have got a piece of A4 extra thick Whisper White card. So it's the thick Whisper White that I've got here. just going to move that basket out the way a second so I've got a bit of room to come in. So what I need to do for this DL card is I need it to be the full width here, so that's 21 centimetres, and I need to cut it at 20 centimetres. Let's move that out the way. We now have a piece of card that is 20 centimetres by 21 centimetres, and then I'm going to move it across. I'm going to bring my cutting blade down safely to the bottom so I'm not tempted to use it. I'm going to line this up at the 10 centimetre mark, and I'm going to score that. Let's get my bone folder. As always, when I'm folding these cards, I rest one side up, but one side up against that stop bit just there, and fold it over, and then just burnish that score line. And there we have a DL sized card. So a DL card is actually 21 centimetres long by 10 centimetres wide that way. Okay, so that's that. Let's bring my basket back up, and obviously you'll need DL envelopes, or need to create a DL envelope to fit that when it comes to sending it. Now what I've got here is I've got various mats. I've got a mat that is in Mossy Meadow, and that has been cut at 20.5 centimetres by 9.5, so half centimetre shorter on each side. Then I've got a soft sea foam mat there, so that's another half centimetre, so that's 20 centimetres by 9. And then I've got a whisper white mat just here that is 19.5 by 8.5. So for each of those mats I've come down half a centimetre each way. So I'm going to stick down the 2 green layers. But I'm not going to stick down the white one yet, because that is going to be, there's going to be some decision making on the hoof with that one, which might mean I don't really want it stuck down just yet. So that's like that. Oh, that's very wonky. Hopefully that's my positioning rather than my cutting. Yes, it is. So there we are. We've got a whisper white, a thick whisper white DL card base with a Mossy Meadow mat and a soft sea foam mat. So let's just pop that to one side for now, and we will bring that in a minute. I'm very aware that the colours on this are not brilliant. We're into a funny time with lighting, aren't we? It's not dark, but the sun is starting to get a little bit low. Let's just bring some of these lights around and see if that helps a little bit. Right, so what I'm going to do now, the other thing that I've cut, so I've already cut these, so I've got my big shot out. Oh, and now they're wet. That's not helpful, is it? That's because I did my I've got my stamping scrub there. My just going to give these a bit of a blow to see if we can dry those out just a little bit. Deliberately got my sponge ready to clean my stamps up, and then obviously these bits of card have just touched base with that wet sponge. My chamois, my simply chamois, that's the word I'm looking for. It seems to have been a long few days. It's been a very busy week this week. Let's give this one a bit of a dry as well. I shan't want all 4. I just thought I'd do a bit of belts and braces. And the nice thing about the stitch shapes, and as well as the scallop shapes and things, those sort of really basic shapes, you can run 2 pieces of card through at the same time, which is what I did. So that's hence why I've cut 4 of everything rather than 3, because I think I should only want 3. So I've got a small square of stitched Whisper White, and I've also got a scallop square in Soft Sea Foam. Oops, we picked something up there. And that one there. So I've got 3 of those, and the idea is going to be that we're going to stamp on the white squares, and that these are then going to sit across here. Now we could possibly have them coming as diamonds, but we would need to overlap them if we did that. I quite like that as diamonds though, I think, rather than as squares. Yes, let's do them as diamonds. I did warn you it was going to be on the hoof. There's going to be a lot of thinking pauses. I do apologise for that. Okay, so we're going to stamp them this way, like this. And I've also got some Soft Sea Foam ink and some Mossy Meadow ink. And I will also need a little bit of scrap paper, I think. Let's just grab a piece of scrap paper that we can stamp off of. I'm just going to fold that in half. I'll pop these underneath for now because that will be a bit time and space saving. Okay, so which one shall we start with? So these are 2-step stamps, and they're photopolymer. I'm going to lay that down and then pick that up. And this one I think I'm going to ink in Mossy Meadow. I am going to stamp it onto the scrap paper first because it is the first time it's ever been stamped, and sometimes with photopolymer stamps particularly you do need to sort of prime them a little bit. So that's that one. So now having this stamped this way, and I want the end bottom of the stalk to be sticking off the bottom so it looks like it's sort of growing into the square rather than just sitting slap bang in the middle. So that is that outline. It's very nice. I'm going to clean that up. I'm just going to rest it in the case for a minute because I know I definitely want that one later. And then the that's not that one, is it? That's that one. Yes, get the right stamp. That's the one. So this is the stamp that you use to, if you like, colour it in. So I think with this one, again I'm going to stamp it first just to make sure that's working properly. I'm going to ink it up, I'm going to stamp it off. Oh, I'm going to do that again just because that was a bit wobbly just there. I'm going to stamp it off before stamping it on here. So apologies if my head gets in the way. I'm just trying to line this up. Hopefully we hit that. We did beautifully, excellent. So there's one that we've done. So that's full strength Mossy Meadow for the outline and stamped off Mossy Meadow for the inner bit. So that's that one. So let's sit that one there, give that a clean. I'm actually going to pop that one back because I don't think I'm going to need that one later. Then we'll get this sort of solid image. So this one isn't a two-step stamp, this is a solid image. So I think we'll have this one as solid mossy meadow. Again, we want that sort of coming off the end of our square slightly, so it looks like it's growing into that. Lovely. Put that on that side, and then the final one is this one here. For this one, let's just give it a practice stamp. Lovely. We're going to stamp it on here. Then I think for the inner one of this one, we'll bring in our Soft foam. Now in theory, this stamp should be this one. Yes, it is. Okay, fabulous stuff. Right, so let's pick this stamp up. Let's ink it up with our Soft foam. And again, excuse my head if it gets in the way. Great stuff. So that one is just a slightly different shade because it's the Soft foam rather than the mossy meadow. So I'm going to pop that stamp back in there for now. Now the other stamps that you've got in here, so we've used these two, and this one. You've got this sort of flowery type herby stamp just there with the flowers and the leaves. So those are two separate stamps, so you can do the leaves one colour and the flower another. You've got these little gift tags. You've got a couple of greetings, a little kindness seizes everything and enjoy the goodness of this day. And then you've got this pot just here with like these sort of shadings for your pot. So some really nice stamps in there, sort of really nice, not over complicated, pretty little images, and we're going to actually stick those onto our backgrounds, onto our scalloped squares. Now this is where I'm not quite decided whether we need anything in the background on that white. Put some twine down the bottom there, but I'm still thinking it might just need a bit of something just to break that white up in the background. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my little acrylic block. I'm going to move these out of the way for now. And I've got my soft seam foam. Going to stamp this off and just going to randomly, very lightly, got a bit of a background going on there in the back, with those flowers in the background. So it is very faint, it's not in your face at all, but it's just a little something just to take away that starkness of that white. And I think the other thing that I will do is I'm going to dig around and find the soft sea foam pen. That's the mint macaron one. That's the mint macaron one. Aha, I think that's the one we want. Let's just pop those down on the floor for a minute. So I've got the soft sea foam pen, and I'm just going to put a bit of faux stitching all around that edge. Again, it's quite faint, but it will just echo the stitching that we've got around our white squares. I never worry too much. I know some people like to do this with a ruler, but I always think if I was to have hand sewn this, it would be wonky. So it feels more authentic that it's just slightly wonky as I do it by hand as well. But you're more than welcome, if you're faux stitching, to grab your ruler and use that. So that's just very faintly in the background there, and on the camera you may not even be able to pick it up. I'm hoping, apologies, I was just hoping I haven't stopped the video in any way. No, because something had just clicked up on it and I clicked off it and thought, oh, I hope that doesn't mean I've stopped the video. Right, so let us now, oh no, I'm not going to stick that down yet because I want to put some of this twine round. So the linen twine is sort of quite nice, rusticy feel to go with the idea of sort of the herbs in the garden. Or herbs on your pot, on your windowsill, as I now have out here in the conservatory. If you spotted those on a Facebook post the other week. Right, just going to tie that, making sure it's tight enough but not so tight that it bends the card, and then I will twiddle with it when I've snipped it with my snips. So just wrapped that round twice and then tied a knot in it, and as I say, I'll fiddle with it a bit more in a minute once it's all in place and not moving anywhere. So let's add that onto there. Let's snip that off. Okay, so now we have our herbs. So the two side ones I'm going to stick down flat, just tucking them under that thread. I'm not sure how well you can see that sort of background, but it has helped just to take the starkness off of that white. Like that, and then this middle one will pop up on some dimensionals just to give it a bit of height. One, two, three, four. Excellent. Now, do we need a little greeting on there? I think perhaps if we're going to go for one, it will be this one that says, enjoy the goodness of this day. Let's pop it on this block. And I would think that would also need to be on in Mossy Meadow. I think in here somewhere I did have, yes, here we go, some little oddments of white card. You can see where I've cut my squares out. Let's give that a practice stamp just because it's the first stamp for this particular stamp. Pop that in the middle. Now I'm just wondering if I've got, trouble is I'm in and out to so many classes that often I've got things packed into other boxes and things, and if I haven't thought to get them out beforehand, I can't always remember which box they're packed in. One of the downsides of being a crafter on the go when you suddenly come to do something online. Just trim that down a bit. I do tend, I have to say, to do these things the Yorkshire way by eye. They're not always perfectly straight, but you can normally get them pretty well, not far off. So I think I'm going to, I was wondering whether to banner that, but I don't think I will. I'm just going to trim that down like this, get a little bit of green card. Sorry, I didn't put my phone on silent. Bit of the soft sea foam card, and let's just mount that onto a layer of green of soft sea foam. And then decide where we're going to put it. Do we want it? So many decisions to be made, isn't there, when we're doing our cards? So would we like it to come down here, across the bottom of there? We're going to have it across the top there. Move this ink out the way because I can see that I'm about to put my arm in it. I think there, possibly. Not convinced, but what are we thinking, ladies? Top, bottom, side, not at all? Feels as if it wants something. No, I think I'm going to go with that top up there. We'll go with our first thought. Let's just pop a dimension on the top there. Pop that across the top there. There we go. So, got these very sort of faint flowers in the background here that are sort of there but not there. Bit of faux stitching around the edge here. You've got your stitching around your squares, and just those two colours, that Mossy Meadow and that soft sea foam. Some of it's stamped solidly, some of it's stamped off, some of it's stamped in a different colour, but sort of shades of green gives you that really nice sort of almost herby gardeny feel. So that's one card using that Seasoned with Kindness stamp set. So let's have a look at the other one. Oh, you see Valerie said bottom and now I've stuck it on the top. Sorry Valerie, I didn't see that. There we are. You'll have to have a go. Have a go with a stamp set in your collection. Stick it at the bottom and then we'll post the picture and we'll compare. Okay, so let me pop that one to one side for now. And let's have a look at the other basket I've got down here. Oh, that I've just tipped half of the things on the floor because it's quite a full basket. Pick those up out of the way. Okay, so with this one, just going to take some of these stamps off these blocks. So I've got my blocks ready to go again. So with this one, I've got a C6 card base that I've made out of some shaded spruce card. I've got a piece of copper foil. I've got a piece of shimmery white cardstock. And then I've got some oddments of shimmery white and shaded spruce there. And I've got a piece of copy paper folded to create an insert. So that's my thoughts so far. So we're going to be using, I've got a couple of stamp sets with greetings on for us to use. I've got a brand new product that's not coming out until the beginning of March that I'm going to be sharing with you in a moment, a quick sneaky peek of. I have got some old olive and some shaded spruce ink. I've got some copper embossing powder. I've got a water brush, some of this copper trim and some copper metallic thread. And I'm just going to pop that down there. That's my new thing that I will share with you in a second. Right. So what I thought with this one is rather than doing two-step stamping on this one, I would just use these sort of outline images. So the two outline leaf images and this sort of more solid one that didn't need a second, didn't need filling in, if you like, didn't need any colouring in. And I thought that we would use our Versamark and some copper embossing powder, and that we would create a copper embossed background using those outline stamps, and then perhaps do a bit of watercolouring with them, and we'd get some copper foil going on in the background, some copper involved in our greeting and those sorts of things. So let's take our piece of shimmery white cardstock to start with, and one of our stamps. Doesn't really matter which one to start with. And let's just ink it up with some Versamark, and we'll do some random stamping. It's never easy when you're random stamping with Versamark, so you can faintly see where it is. It's not an exact science by any means. Right, but what we'll do is we'll sprinkle some embossing powder on there, and then we shall be able to see where those stamped images are. Now what I should have done, of course, is I should have wiped that with an embossing buddy first, but I didn't. So just adding the copper embossing powder to that. Let's give that a bit of a flick. Let's swap our stamp. And let's use this other sort of outline image. finger on that bit. Right, let's add a bit more of the powder so we can see where those are. It's like magic, isn't it? Sort of, they suddenly appear like the old magic paintings that we used to do when we were children. Suddenly from nowhere comes these images. Let's give that a flick, and then finally let's get this final ferny one, which obviously will give quite a lot of bit more solid embossing powder. Not sure that I'm going to get one in there. Use my head while I just work out. I think what I might do actually is I'm going to put the powder on here and then heat up what we've got. Okay, looking good. So let's bring in the heat gun. So apologies, this will be a little bit noisy for a minute. Because if we had a YouTube video or something, I would just be fast forwarding this bit, but you don't get that luxury on a live video. So I'll just carry on slurping my tea that's nearly cold now. Whilst heating this copper embossing powder and watching it go shiny. As always, I just heat up one area at a time and then move on to the next as that piece has turned, has melted, rather than wafting my gun about. So that looks as if that's all gone. Really rather lovely when it catches the light. So we've got these sort of more solid ferny pieces just here. Okay, so what I'm going to do then, I was wondering whether to put in a bit more of this fern, but I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm going to leave it at that for now. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to pop the lid on this embossing powder to start with, so that I don't risk knocking that flying and wafting it everywhere. I'm going to get my water brush. As I say, I've got some old olive here. It's already got some ink in the lid. And there's a little bit in there, but let's see if we can get a little bit more. Better. So let's see, this one here, let's just lay down a bit of water, pick up a bit of this ink and just add in a bit of colour down there. And we'll do the same with this one. So I'm not being particularly precise. Just adding in the colour. And this one. This one. Spotting the patterns, the different leaf shapes. Here. As always with watercolouring, if you want it a bit darker, just add in a bit more pigment. A bit lighter, add in a bit more water. You can always use kitchen towel and things, which is what I'm reaching for just now, to blot it slightly. And this one is the other one in that shape. There we go. And to clean your brush, just squeeze that water through until it comes clear. There we go. So now we're going to pick up some of this old olive for this other one. And then the more solid image will just stay as copper embossing powder, just a solid image. I'm afraid I haven't been clever enough to identify which herbs are which on here. Anybody that's an expert, do feel free to chip in and let me know. Right, okay, there we go. So we've just added in some random, so that's old olive and shaded spruce there, and then these other ones we'll just leave as copper. So let's find our card. So we have our shaded spruce card base, we have our copper foil. Now what I want to do is, this is where I'm going to bring in, that's still drying a little bit, I'm going to bring in, oh, what have I done with that? Here it is. So this, in beginning of March, they're going to be bringing out a new range of things that they're calling the Celebration Coordination range. I have somewhere got a bit of a sneak peek of those for you as well. So here we are, and there's going to be 6 different items, and they're all going to be items that you can buy, but you're going to be able to buy them, and they are going to coordinate with some of the celebration items that you're going to have been able to earn during January, February, and that you'll continue to be able to earn during March. So what you've got is you've got a set of 4 framelits, and these framelits are going to go with the Lasting Lily stamp. That's one of the, is the £90 offering in the current celebration catalogue. There's the frogs that obviously will cut out those So Hoppy frogs that you can earn in the current catalogue. You've got this one here that cuts out the cupcakes from the Sweet Cupcake stamp that's in the current celebration catalogue. This set here cuts out those stamps in that Painted Seasons stamp set that I just shared with you, that is going live tomorrow. So that is a set that you're going to be able to buy to cut out those images in that stamp set. They've brought out a new greetings sentiments stamp that sort of works with those celebration items. So there's, you know, some are talking about sprinkles and hopping by, and you know, all of those sorts of things, so that jumping in, so the idea that you'll be able to use those sentiments to go with your celebration items that you've already brought, alongside lots of other projects as well. And then there's this new label punch, and the label punch actually coordinates with the Part of My Story stamp set that is one of the current celebration items, but obviously also being a label punch will go with so much more. But it's a really nice shaped punch. So I thought that we would have a first play with this today. And what I'm going to do is this piece of copper foil, I want a copper label, so I'm just going to punch it right out the middle of there, because we're going to layer that underneath here. Nobody will ever know that we've just pinched that out of the middle there. So we have a copper layer, and I thought we would also have a a shaded spruce layer, and we will also need a layer from here. But first of all, we're going to stamp our chosen greeting onto there, and the greeting that I've chosen for this project is this one that says, and let's stick it on there, and then I'll be able to turn it around and show you. Know that today a friend is thinking of you. I just think that's really lovely. Now, I was umming and ahhing whether to stamp it in and copper emboss it, but actually I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm going to stamp it in the shaded spruce. Let's stamp that on there. And then I'm going to punch that out, and then we'll decide whether it needs anything else. So that sits really nicely in there. What I'm going to do with these ones is I'm going to take my snips and I'm going to snip them in half this way. So the green one and the copper foil one, and we will use those to build up our label like this. But what I think I am tempted to do is we'll go back to this solid fern shape, and we will ink this up with Versamark. Now, before I do this, I am going to get my embossing buddy out, because I have just stamped this. There's a good chance that it's still going to be a little bit damp, which would mean that the embossing powder would stick to it, and we don't want that to happen. So I'm just going to stamp some of these fern leaves on there. Let me reach and grab back my copper embossing powder, and we'll see if that looks like it's enough. So this is all on shimmery white, because obviously we were watercolouring. Yeah, I think that's enough. Just a little bit of something a bit more on there. And let's bring in our heat gun and heat that up. Okay, so we're going to have a label like this. So let's put some snail on the back there and add in our green layer. So I think if we layer that so that this pointy bit just here meets with that sort of cutty out bit just there, if that all makes sense. Let's put a bit of glue on there and then do the same again. Okay, and then we'll do the same the other end. Just needs to come over a little bit more. Now comes the question, do we want it to go that way or would we like it to go that way? I like it that way, I think. So let's put our holy copper foil down, and I've actually cut this so that it is 13.9 by 9.5 centimetres, so it's a whole centimetre shorter on each end. And then this one was just half a centimetre shorter, so this was 13.4 by 9 centimetres for that shimmery white layer. Oh, that's not quite got enough on there, has it? Let's give that a bit more sticky. Okay, and then we've got this. So the other thing then I'd picked up, so need to decide, I've got some of this copper trim, and I've also got some copper metallic thread. So I'm quite tempted to have a bit of a swoosh of copper trim. So let me find some tear and tape, because I find that's the easiest way. So we'll have it coming this way. This way, and then back this way. Oh, just torn that in half. Let's put that down there like that. Oh, that's stuck to my finger rather than... Fabulous. Let's trim that off there. Now, the nice thing about this trim is you can, if you want to, sort of spread it out a little bit to give it a bit more of a fatter, wispier effect. We'll have that there, and then we'll take some of the metallic thread. She says, famous last words. It was here just now. Oh, look at that, just put my hand straight on the ink pad. Oh, and now I'm very green. Right, just wipe the worst of that off. And then take some of this metallic thread. I'm just going to wipe that around my hands a few times. And take a bit more tear and tape. Very green fingers. That bit there. And of course it looks a bit messy on the back, but we're not actually going to see the back. It's just about ensuring that it's where we want it to be. Got our two loose ends there. Let's bring that round there. And that round there. What we can do is, because I'm going to put some dimensionals on here anyway, let's secure that end down with a dimensional. There, all stuck down in place on the back there. Put another dimensional that side. Got one stuck to my finger. Oh, let's pop it on anyway. There we go. It's determined it wants to come. Take the backs off them. So where that's looking very messy on the back, once we turn it round, we'll be none the wiser. Got a bit of copper thread there, got a bit of copper trim. So the other thing I might grab as a final thing, if I can find them, here they are, is I might just put one or two of these little copper sequins on. Because obviously this isn't going to, oh, there we go. We'll have one there, and one just there. Let's see how that looks. So let's pick the coppery ones up. Come here, little sequin. Oh, it's already got one on the end, that's why it's not picking one up. Trying to turn it round. There we go, there's one. Oh, come here. There's two. And one more. That's a black one, we don't want you. And one just there. Lovely. So there we are. We've got some copper trim, some copper thread, a few little copper sequins, some copper embossing powder, copper foil, that lovely new punch, which I think it's a really lovely shape. I do like that. So that's looking rather lovely, but what we will need is we'll just need a bit of a something to go on the inside. So I did actually grab another stamp set, and this one is called Sorry for Everything, and there's a stamp in here that just says, I wish I could make everything better. And that seemed to go very well with that idea of know that today is a friend is thinking of you. So let's pop that in there. This is obviously an old style stamp set, so it hasn't got the labels on. It's not a cling one. Let's find our shaded spruce. Oh, I'm all fingers and thumbs today. That's because I'm tired. So I wish I could make everything better. And then I'm just going to add in some of these ferny herbs on that corner. And let's put some glue on there and some snail on there and just pop that inside. There we have. Know that today a friend is thinking of you, and then when you open it up, I wish I could make everything better. Beautiful. Let's find our other card. So there they are, two very different cards. Not bad for two done on the hoof, and both using this really lovely Seasoned with Kindness stamp set. So don't forget, in order to get one of those, you need either to have hosted an event or to put in an order that totals £150 or more, and then you get to choose to add these into your basket. And what I haven't done for you today is remind you how much that one was. So they, as I said before, they tend to be cheaper than, so the recommended retail price on that is £15, but if you have it as part of your spend your stamping rewards on it, it's just going to cost you £9. So well worth having a get together, having a really lovely time with some friends and things in order to gather some stamping rewards to earn yourself this Seasoned with Kindness stamp set. It's really beautiful. So I hope you've enjoyed those 2 projects. I think I might go for a hot cup of tea and go and check on my charge. I've not heard any stirrings to suggest that he's awake yet. But enjoy your weekend. I hope this sun continues to shine and that you'll get out and about doing some nice things. And I hope you're all doing lovely things today on this Valentine's Day. And know that I love you all and are sending you all love from me and the ducky, because of course we all love a ducky. So speak to you on Monday.